Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us here at Transwest Truck Trailer RV of Frederick, Colorado. I'm right here on I-25, about 30 minutes north of Denver. My name is Michaela Hall. This morning we are going through a brand new Cimarron 4-horse bumper pull, loaded with all the options, and a huge oversized front tack. So I'm gonna walk you guys through the dimensions. We're gonna go and pull up that drawing and just review that together before we get to the trailer. So you guys are looking at a total floor length of 26.5. So that's gonna be nose to tail. We do have a 3'6" tongue on this one. We're looking at 8 foot wide, 7'4" tall, and I mentioned that oversized front tack. It has a short wall of 8 feet and a long wall of 12 feet. So we've got a lot of good storage up in the front of this trailer. A lot of good just amenities and options on this one as well. So real excited to show it to you guys. But again, this one is brand new and it is currently still available. So if you guys are familiar with Cimarrons and our dual tack setup, this is kind of what that one's gonna mimic. It does have your dual tack, so you're still gonna have your swing outs on both sides. Both sides are gonna look the same. It's just when we get inside, it ends up being a lot bigger than those standard dual tacks. So we still have our 42-inch door, our big oversized swing right here with our full 4-pole blanket bars on our swing out with your gas shock. So that will swing out on your gas shock up here. And then when it swings back shut, that gas shock is gonna hold it shut without any other hardware interfering over here. I've got this set up on my Cimarron at home. I don't know how many times I actually swing it out because it is still so accessible as it sits right here, that you can get tons of clearance in here with multiple pads. I've got pads and liners. I stack them all on top of each other, but just really usable right here. And then that bus window right behind them is great for ventilation. When you do put all your sweaty pads on here, your wet pads and blankets, and you want to dry them out, it's nice having that window right there to just get your circulation and your ventilation moving through this area. And then down below, our brush tray, same that you see on all the Cimarrons. It's very deep. It's got 3 separate compartments, and it does have those drain holes in the bottom. So especially this time of year, you still have your mane and tail detangler, you still have your fly spray in there. I was just saying that I woke up this morning and real feel at my house was 33 degrees. Didn't expect that. So those overnights where it gets real crisp, something starts to freeze and crack and spill in here, it's nice to be able to just swing your door open like this and clean it out, spray it out, let it dry, and still be able to use it. Not have to go in there and scrape anything out the bottom. Nice having those drain holes. And they are huge, they fit a lot of good stuff. I've got my 10-foot hose right here. We'll show you guys that water tank once we get into your tack room, but that's where that one's hanging out right now. And then we do have our swing out saddle rack over here. We've got 3 currently optioned on each side, though you guys can see there's plenty of space. I've got 4 on mine at home. If you wanted to add another one, you could very easily do that. If you guys want to just space them out, get them a little lower to the ground, you guys have the options. It's just that same track that you guys see on all the Cimarrons, fully adjustable. You're just going to take your crescent wrench and loosen the high and the low bolts right here, and they'll slide up and down anywhere on this track. As I said, you guys can add one more, you can take them off, whatever you guys want to do. And then you have your actual saddle racks right here. They are fully carpeted, and then they have this wither block which sets up in the gullet of your saddle, kind of mimics your horse's withers, hence the name wither block. And it just gives it a really good angle right here. It really holds your saddles on. I've got this kind on my Cimarron at home. I actually bought a used Cimarron here that was built prior to these saddle racks, and before I took it home, I went ahead and pulled off that old style and threw these on there because I really do trust these ones. I've never had a saddle fall off of these, so really nice with that grip factor of the carpet, but then also just that sets up in the gullet, gives it a good firm hold right there. And this is on your swing out gas shock, so it is gonna push back in there and get out of your way. And then when you do swing it out, you guys will notice with our big 42-inch door opening, we still have lots of good space to climb in and out of here. If you're going in there to get your bridles or anything else, there's still plenty of accessibility with that all the way out. And then we did do a fold down step. That is an upgrade. Those are not standard. I don't have one on mine at home. They do make a big difference. I really appreciate them when I walk through trailers here on the lot. Just getting in and out is so much easier, especially when you go 8 wide. You're not going to have any running board right here, so adding your fold down step makes a big difference. But now we'll go ahead and climb in, and we'll start at the floor and just check out what we have on our floor. Carpet is standard. I've got carpet in mine. Don't love it. Your next step up would be black rubber mats, which are then cut to fit, which do have seams. They're very small seams, but they do have seams. So if you guys are looking for a step up or an upgrade, it's gonna be your gray rubber tread right here. Tread, so it does have a little bit of grip to it, but then it's fully seamless. So it's cut to fit and then just sealed with sealant all the way around all of the edges. So it gets it a nice, really clean space feel in here, makes it really easy to clean, dry up, mop out, whatever you guys need to do. And I know we have been talking here on the lot when we saw this trailer pull in, just the sheer amount of space in here is incredible. Where if you needed to store, something that came to mind was a Cricket. You guys have, what is that, like a really small, like mini sized golf cart, would easily fit up in here. And so with that gray rubber tread flooring, it's really going to protect your floor and allow you to clean it once you do have that equipment in here. If you just have show boxes, vacuums, blower carts, whatever you guys have to store in here, you have so much space. And we are talking 8 feet from here to back there, and then 12 feet from where you guys are up here. So lots and lots of good room in here to just fully just jam pack this full of stuff. We'll start here and work our way around. So as you step in this door, right around the corner, we have our light switch. We do have one of those optic brights over each of your doors, so you'll have visibility from both sides in here. Those guys are nice and bright. And then we did fully carpet this little short wall right here and did 2 rows of bridle hooks. So just the ones that you use consistently, daily basis, quick grab. You just have to reach in here right around the door frame here and grab whichever one you use the most. Really eliminates you having to climb in and out of this tack room at all, unless you're getting some older training or show bridles. But if you put all your quick grab ones right here, all of your tack is just going to be right there swinging out of this tack space for you. Extra halters and such, but you've got 2 rows right here. Over here on this front nose wall, we did our shelf right here. So it has your 2-inch lip, and then it's got that rubber mat down the bottom. So you guys want to store some like hat cans up here. I've got mine full of extra cinches. I've got all those laying in there. But whatever you need to store up here, it's not going to fall off with your 2-inch lip. And it is a very oversized shelf. So we did go ahead and add those extra supports on each side just to give it really good structural stability right there. And then down below, a full-length clothes rod right here. So if you are showing out of this trailer, bring your garment bags with you and all your change of clothes. There's tons of space to just hang those guys up right here. I do have this in my trailer at home as well. Never had anything come off of there unless my husband was driving and got a little carried away on some corners, but nothing has really just flown off during regular transit. And also I've used one of those like a bridle hook that you hang over a fence rail that gives you extra bridle hooks. I've got one of those hung up on there as well to give me extra storage. That way you guys can get real creative with this setup right here. And then down below, full-size matching spare tire is stored right inside of here. Over here up in our nose, we have our battery for our electric jack that we have up on the front. Our battery disconnect is right here. I've got it on right now so I can demonstrate all of our lights. We have a red arc over here, which is just a turbocharger. Typically your 7-pin is going to trickle charge your onboard battery here. With your red arc, it's just going to supercharge. Make sure this stays maintained and topped off for you guys. And then over here, your breakaway battery. This is just going to ensure if you ever become disconnected from your tow vehicle, that your emergency brakes do kick on. Over here, went ahead and did more carpet and 2 full rows of bridle hooks over here. So lots of good hanging space. And we do the carpet behind just to protect your trailer and protect your equipment. Over here, it's not so much about keeping it quieter for your horses because you're up on your front wall here, but just preventing any black streaks from your equipment swaying back and forth helps maintain your resale value and protects those bridles and halters that you have stored over there. This is going to be our second light switch, so no matter which side you're working off of, which door you're coming in and out of, you still have the ability to turn those lights on and off from over here. Second 42-inch swing, which we'll check out once we get over there, but you're going to have your same swing out, your same blanket bars, all of the exact same tack setup over here, which makes it really nice if you just pull into a rodeo grounds, a fairgrounds, you just don't know which side you're going to be able to tie up off of. You can get in and out. You can completely walk through this entire tack room and access both sides whenever you need to. And then back here, always do the full carpet of the partition wall. I really like that upgrade on builds. I've got it on my Cimarron at home, and I just think it really finishes the look, but protects this entire wall. So if you are storing stuff on the ground down here and it hits this wall, it's gonna be protected. You do have a whole nother row of bridle hooks up high here. So if you do have some longer items, your longer split reins, or your Rommel reins to hang off of here that need that extra clearance without kind of getting crinkled by bridle hooks down below, you've got that space right there. And then hiding back in here in our dead space corner, we have a water tank, fills up at the top. You're gonna take that guy off right there and stick a hose in there and fill it up. It does stay strapped in this corner here with these guys. I've got it in mine, never had any issues with it. And then down below, you sit on this stand here, but remember that 10-foot hose from our brush tray? That's gonna connect right here. It's gonna give you tons of clearance to get out of this tack room with it. And it is just gravity fed, but as I said, I do have this on mine. I feel like it gives you enough pressure behind it to rinse horses off, to fill water buckets. Fills water buckets faster than my horses can drink out of them. So it does have some pretty good pressure behind it. And it's always nice having water on board, just because, as I mentioned, you never know where you're gonna end up parking at the fairgrounds. You could be parking in the back 40. You don't want to be trucking those buckets back and forth. You know, carrying them gets really heavy, or setting them on the tailgate of your truck. You get back to where you're going and you've already lost half a bucket of water. Always nice to just have that right there on board. We'll go ahead and step out of our tack room here and kind of work our way back. We went ahead and optioned this tail side with drops all the way down. This trailer we envision behind either a big hauler truck, behind an RV, just going down the road pretty consistently. That's typically what our RV customers are looking for, is a bigger capacity bumper pole behind it. So putting that many miles on, you don't know where you're gonna end up, especially climate wise. If you do end up somewhere pretty hot, having the ability to just fully open this entire trailer gives it a lot of good convenience, and then versatility that you have those options to kind of manipulate that airflow how you need to. But these will fully open up. They do have your bus windows built in, so if this is just too much, I said real feel was 33 this morning, right? Hauled a horse home from the fairgrounds last night who was slicked out, didn't have winter coat, just went ahead and closed up the entire trailer, left a couple roof vents open for him, but you just don't want that much air movement. You just have your bus windows built in. You can utilize those instead. Down below, we have our amber turn signal right here. Like to do that on our wider, longer, larger trailers. They do indicate when you're turning, of course. They also indicate when you step on your brakes. So just a good reminder for those traveling on the roads around you, what your plans are when you're changing lanes or slowing down. And then we do have below our two Dexter rubber torsion 7,000 pound axles under this guy. Got 16-inch aluminum wheels on our Westlake tires right here. And then getting back up top, I'll take you guys back up. We do have extra marker lights running down the top rail. Looks like we've got 8 on each side. So really did do a lot of those clearance lights. We've got 2 of our 16-inch on this side, so you're gonna have your full visibility. We're gonna do that on each side because of our dual tack. So you have the visibility over your tie rings as well as your tack space. And then we did do an 8-foot hay pod up on top. So you have good hay storage up there, just good dry storage as well. If you're throwing some shavings up there, some grain bags, camping chairs, any sort of storage up there. It has the lid on it, so you don't have to strap stuff down, which is nice. And then behind it, you guys will notice we did go ahead and carry that whole wall back there because we did do a deck extension. So it gives you the ability for extra exterior storage. If you wanted to strap down an upside down wheelbarrow or something like that, you're taking the horse show with you, you have that ability as well. Stepping around to our load space back here. Did do a rear ramp on this one. And then we do have 2 50-50 doors back here. So we do have a broom closet over on the left-hand side. We've got some mangers on this one. So we end up with just kind of a smaller space back here. You can do one full swing. That gets to be a pretty large door. If the wind grabs it, it gets pretty heavy, pretty big, turns into a big sail. So sometimes nice to just go ahead and do that 50-50 split, make it a little bit more manageable size-wise. We do have 2 of our 8-inch load lights back here, so we're gonna have really good visibility. Again, I hauled home from the fairgrounds last night in the dark, and turning these guys on just really lights it up, gives your horses a lot of confidence as they step on and off this trailer when it is so bright and visible. And then going ahead and stepping in, I'll take you guys down to the floor again first. This one has been upgraded to our Werm flooring. I always like to point out our emblem because a lot of people get confused by Werm flooring. It does stand for We Eliminate Rubber Mats, so it does mean something. It is a pour-in, permanent, non-porous rubber flooring. So you guys can see it's about the thickness of your standard rubber mats, but they don't come out. They're not removable. So it is just full. They pour it in, let it set and dry. Eliminates the need for those rubber mats. And I did finally get around to posting that video on my social media of me dragging out my rubber mats and spraying out my aluminum floor. Got to make sure you take care of those aluminum floors. So put some baking soda down, made sure it was dry, and threw those mats back in. You don't have to do this with this Werm flooring. It makes it so nice. You can come in here and just power wash it out. It's never going to let any of that urine and acid get down to your aluminum floor and start corroding it or eating away at it. Just a really good investment to protect that floor. Also adds a little bit of insulation. So you have your insulation on the floor with your Werm. And then standard in your Norstar, which is your horse trailer models of Cimarron, they do line and insulate all of the walls. So even in between your drop windows, behind your kick mats, all these walls are also lined and insulated. And then standard on all Cimarrons, we can see it on this one. This is going to be your insulated roof. It's about a 1/2 inch thick. It's fiberglass reinforced and has a honeycomb core. Gives your trailer an R3 thermal value. So it's going to be 20% warmer in the winter, 20% cooler in the summer. And it is up on top. This is the exact same material on both sides. It is dent resistant up to a baseball size hail. That ends up being a big selling point here in Colorado especially, but I really like the temperature control of this insulated roof. We'll go ahead and walk all the way up front and then work our way back. We do have an escape door on our front stall right here. I've got it nice and wide open right now so you guys can see that you can step in and out of this space if you wanted to use your first stall for storage. Does not have a manger on this one, but we do have our D-rings right here in the corner if you wanted to just clip in a corner feeder. If you are hauling forehead on this trailer, you have the ability to clip in your corner feeder. Has your chest bar for safety so your horse doesn't step out if you did open this door. And then 2 tie rings. You're always going to get 2 tie rings in all of your stalls. I love the versatility of 2 tie rings for tying a hay net or a hay bag in one and then tying your horse up to another one. And then we do have a stud stall on our front one. So stud stall meaning you're going to be solid down below. So if you were stacking stuff in this one, if you didn't want to use your hay pod was full, you just wanted to do like your Rubbermaid totes and stuff in here, you don't want it to slide through, we have this full length divider right here. Also, if you did actually haul a stud or a mare that liked to kick, it's nice to have the option to keep them separated from the rest of the crew. All of our dividers are padded, so again, traveling long distances, we like to make sure they're very comfortable. And then we did do bar type dividers as well as bar type head grills. Head grills are the part that are in between the mangers here. So giving it lots of just open air visibility and then open air flow, moving the air throughout this trailer. We do have mangers in our last 3 stalls. And even with the mangers, you still get your 2 tie rings. Nice having your feed trough in front of you if you were someone that just feeds hay on the road, you feed hay cubes, you want to set a water bucket in here, you guys have options with this setup here. And then I'll take you back. This divider, our second 2 are both going to be the same size. So these ones are just partial, so no stud wall down below. If you guys are looking for more of the stud wall protection, our shop can hang rubber mat from here. It is like the rubber mat that goes as your kick mat. It's really thick. They do an awesome job of installing it where it hangs really just straight down and really sturdy. It doesn't sit there and swing back and forth. They do a great job, so our shop can definitely do something like that. This one has a really good amount of airflow to it, but if you did want to add stall fans, our shop does that as well. Also, stall cameras are a big upgrade. A lot of customers do that to have the visibility of seeing their horses as they're driving down the road. The monitor just sets up in their tow vehicle. transfers to any tow vehicle, but putting either 1 or 2 cameras in this load space here would give you guys the option of seeing your horses traveling down the road. So our shop does that as well. We are 7'4" tall in this trailer, which is floor to roof bow. So 7'4", lots of good head clearance in here for your taller horses. And then we do have 2-way roof vents, one over each of your stalls. And these do open both directions. So right now it's still been pretty warm to where I have my front 2 favored forward like that, and then my back 2 favored backwards. So it's got that good air moving just straight across their backs. When it starts to transition like this and get a little bit colder, typically I'll just have all of them open backwards. So I'm not pulling any cool air in here, but I'm allowing the heat to rise off of their back and transfer out of this space. I really like these roof vents right here because of this mechanism. It's really sturdy and really safe. You're gonna squeeze down on that black piece and then push it forwards or backwards. You guys will typically see what is just a black handle piece right here that you have to push back and forth. There's no squeezing action to it. It's just a black handle. Those do get brittle over time. And last time I had to use trade-in and I went to push it open and show a customer how the roof vents work, it snapped off in the palm of my hand and sliced my hand open. So just really good feedback for the quality that Cimarron does invest into their trailers. They do hit a higher price point, but it's because they just go into the fine-tuned details and fit and finish of making sure they find the best, even small detailed products to make sure these are top of the line trailers for you guys. But we'll go ahead and back out of this load space. Now I'm gonna go ahead and close this one door right here and show you guys our easy angle ladder that gets you up into the hay pod. This door is on a hold back over here, so you guys can hold them open. So you're on a slant like this trailer is, or if it's a windy day. But you can have an easy angle ladder and a rear ramp. A lot of customers ask me that. You can have both. They do work together just fine. But this is gonna get you up into your hay pod and that deck extension. I do like the deck extension for storage, as I said, if you guys are gonna strap some stuff down behind your pod, but also because it gives you somewhere to go and get up onto your roof safely. Without the deck extension, your pod would just be up there and you would be getting to the end of this ladder and you just have to like jump up onto your roof. This makes it a lot safer. You get a handle to help you get up in there and then you have somewhere to go. And then from there, you can be using that space to be loading hay bales or equipment, shavings bags, grain bags into your pod from there. Easy angle ladder is very easy to use. You can do it with one hand. It does set back down on those feet right there, and it does lock into place. All of your light switches on this trailer are gonna be right here on your rear post. This is gonna do left-hand side, right-hand side, your load lights and your interior lights all from right here. And I mentioned a broom closet, so now we're gonna step around and get to that broom closet space. Really good extra exterior storage. I was showing this space to a customer, I think it was Friday night. They came to walk the lot and they were walking by a trailer with one and this door was closed, right? And she's walking up and she's like, where does that door go? And so we open it and she goes, so you mean I don't have to store my brooms and my pitchforks in my shower? She was very excited for extra like dirty storage space. So always fun to hear customer feedback, but great spot to be putting those brooms, pitchforks, water hoses, vacuum hoses. We do have the big set of utility hooks, and they're not bridle hooks, they're utility hooks. So they're a wider tooth right here and then a wider spacing in between. So when you are hanging those hoses and such, you do have the space in between for all those coils to sit. Water buckets, those big, just 5-gallon water buckets you can stack up in here. Grain pans, you could probably get your supplements and your grain back here as well. And then head side for drop down windows, we always do jail bars on this side. If you guys are looking at building a trailer, you can do jail bars on tail side drop windows as well. But these are nice because you can still drop these down. Of course, get in there, throw some hay in your manger, set a water bucket in there, let them drink, let them stretch their head out while you're pulled over, getting fuel. Gives their back a good stretch before you push them back in there. But we always do jail bars on the head side so that your horses do keep their heads inside as you're traveling down the road. And then if this is just going to be too much airflow, of course we do have our bus window built in, so you guys can just crack that open, or those roof vents that we looked at inside our stall area. And then down below we do have mangers on our last 3 stalls. So you're going to have this really good storage space inside of here. We've got those utility hooks at doors 1 and 3. Full carpet behind. Really liking the carpet or the gray rubber in this manger space versus just your white sheeted wall. Good protectant, but again, just more storage space. You do have your wheel well sitting in here, and it kind of closes it up a little bit to make it a really good space to set those grain bags, and it really holds them upright. So it always has worked really well as like a mobile feed room for me in the past. We're gonna have that on again, 2, 3, and 4. And stall 1 is gonna be that one with the stud wall and the escape door. So again, if you needed this for extra storage space, maybe all your horses are in your big trainer's trailer and this trailer is just taking 2 or 3 horses and then all of your equipment, you have that stud wall right there with exterior access to store everything in there and load your horses behind. We always do 2 of the door locks on one that is potentially going to have a horse behind it, so that way if they were ever to mess with that one on the inside, they cannot actually get out, and you're still going to get a drop window within that escape door as well. Back to side number 2 of our dual tack. So we're going to have a swing out on this side as well. It's going to look just like that other side. So you're going to have your big 42-inch door right here, bus window behind, and then our blanket bars on that swing out gas shock. And then your brush tray below. And your swing out saddle rack right here. So as I mentioned in the beginning, it's just nice to have the versatility and the flexibility of you get to where you're going. Maybe you're parked next to someone who's really close over here, has a horse that kicks, you need to tie up on the other side. You can still get to your equipment from either side without walking around your entire rig, especially if you are hooked up to a big Super C or an RV up front. You don't want to walk all the way around the front of that. You don't want to be stepping over the tongue of your trailer either. You have this accessibility here. If you're traveling with a partner, you guys each just have your own side of the trailer dedicated for just your equipment. It's one of my favorite tack setups, that and this trainer's tacks. I just like how much storage and flexibility they offer. We'll go ahead and finish up front because we have a couple things that are noteworthy up here as well. First one being our tread brake. You guys will notice this goes up very tall on this trailer. So standard is going to be 18 inches. Typically we'll at least jump up to 24 inches on our inventory or our builds. But again, noting that this one's likely going to be behind a big hauler truck, a big motorhome, Super C, RV of some sort, we just went ahead and bumped it up to 36. So lots of good protection right here from any rocks that kick up. It's going to bounce off your tread brake versus dinging your nice white sheeting. And then we did do an extended tongue on this one. So standard on most manufacturers' bumper poles is at like 2 feet, 2 feet 6 inches. Standard for Cimarron bumper poles is 3 feet. We went ahead and added 6 inches to this one, so we made it 3'6". So you have that extra clearance right here from your tow vehicle, extra turning radius. If you are putting it behind a hauler truck or an RV, now you can turn a lot easier with this. They also pull really nice. I've had a lot of our hotshot drivers that drop off our trailers. They always say, and I'm gonna get it on video one day, I'm gonna ask their permission first, but I'm gonna make sure, because they always come here and they say, I haven't felt this thing behind me the whole way. These are the best pulling trailers that I've hauled, and I will continue to haul. I like picking these ones up because I can't feel them. Whatever Cimarron does in their engineering department, whatever they do with their tongues and their axle placement, they're doing a good job. So I love hearing that feedback. It's gonna carry true on this one as well. Our 7-pin right here is gonna be standard for your lights and brakes, and it does have a storage space over here like that versus where I used to just set them right here. If it snows and it rains, you're gonna get water and moisture up in there. Now it tucks away, all your water and moisture is gonna drain off right there. I talked about that breakaway brake inside. This is gonna be your cable for that. So if you ever get disconnected and this pulls loose, that battery in there engages your trailer brakes. And then on this one, we upgraded big time to our 20,000 pound adjustable coupler. So adjustable because you can loosen this guy and place it wherever you need to for your tow vehicle, depending on what, if you're hauling a truck or an RV. This is going to be very different, but not just your standard ball tongue on this one because of the weight and the capacity that you're towing behind this one. We've seen other manufacturers that do these size of bumper poles with just their standard tongue setup up here, and they have come in with big scary issues because of this is just being underrated. We just went ahead and we always want to be safety first, safety conscious, and just over deliver on capacity for this tongue up here. And then we also did the electric over hydraulic jack because this is a big trailer. No one wants to stand back here and crank it up and down. So push of a button, you can run this guy up and down right there. So being a brand new 2026 Cimarron, you're gonna get really great warranties with this trailer. 8-year on your structure, 3-year hitch to bumper, and 1 year on your sealants. It is from date of purchase. This one is still available. You guys are walking the lot. I was teaching some customers the other day about this. Scan our QR codes because it will take you to this webpage for this trailer, shows you the photo gallery, links this video back there. You guys are watching online, scroll to the bottom of transwest.com to our stock ID search and type in 5N25621 2026 Cimarron Norstar 4-horse bumper pole. It's still available. I'd love to help you guys out with this one or a build in the future. My name is Michaela Hall. You can call or text at 303-918-6367. Shoot me an email at michaela.hall@transwest.com. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Have a great rest of your week. See you next time.